With many manufacturers making their phones with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G instead of the 865, it's a growing debate about will that be worth to buy 865 chipset or the 765G is fast enough. LG launched its Velvet with the 765G and so did Google with its Pixel 5. With both these companies being the market drivers already, it's important to understand what exactly is going on at this point of time. To understand the concept, we have to go back to the root of the Snapdragon pricing and specs. Qualcomm keeps increasing the prices of their top-tier Snapdragon chipset every year for some improvements they come up with. This chipset being Qualcomm's best, basically the best of what industry could offer, is being included by companies in their flagships, eventually raising the costs of phones significantly, along with other improvements the manufacturers come with, including their part makers. If you were following the industry trends, you would have noticed how LG and Google have driven the Android and even the Apple market to its current direction. Like LG has been the manufacturer of the famous G5, the first successful phone to be releasing the dual camera setup, which doesn't let the performance down, and basically telling the other manufacturers that hey, you can make your own soup and not depend upon Qualcomm or Apple to spoon feed you. On the other hand, Nexus and Pixel were the industry standard for the Android OS, now being adopted by iOS 2, and also the computational photography was the term first rising due to Pixel. By the way, this is ZoopLoop's first video, so do suggest me anything you want me to come up with. If you enjoyed this video, like it and share it amongst your tech community or anyone else considering to buy a new phone in these upcoming months. And trust me, it's not an Apple freeware. I'm never ever gonna charge you for liking this video. And do consider subscribing it too. I'm gonna come up with such content on a regular basis. So as you might see, most of the differences between the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 and the 768G are between things that are not that much important in most of the markets, and a lot of them are not even being used by many of the phones. For example, Dolby Vision recording, I don't think so any phone uses that system. Instead of going to random sites, I took to the Snapdragon's official site, which is the Qualcomm's website, and took out information directly from them and highlighted in a separate MS Word so that you could see what the difference exactly is, rather than some differential websites which hide some of the information at times. But that is what matters to most of you, because that is what usually the consumers are using it for. So let us check out from versus.com how it differentiates between the two chipsets. So as you can see in this section, primary reasons for the 768G being better than the 865 are three. Actually two if you think of the uplink and downlink as a single object, that's the modem. But here it goes. The 768G has a 163 MHz faster clock speed than the 865 and around 1.85 times faster downlink, being at 3700 megabits as compared to 865's 2000 megabits per second. And the uplink speed is about 5 times faster than 865, being at 1600 megabits per second as compared to the 865's 318 megabits per second. On the other hand, if you would like to know why the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 is better than the 768G, then here are the facts. It has 9.49% faster CPU speed, 617 MHz higher RAM speed, and has the next bit support for hardware assisted virtualization, has 2 more memory channels, and has AES. Out of all these, I feel that the faster RAM speed and the 2 memory channels are the most important things that you should be considering, because as far as I know, the hardware assisted virtualization and AES is hardly being used by other companies and manufacturers, including the software companies. By the way, here is the comparison for all other chipsets, including the 765 versus 865, 768 versus 865 Plus, and all other questions that you might be having regarding the chipsets while buying a new phone. Note that most of these things are redundant and not useful. There isn't much of a difference between the 865 and 768G. The 768 is clocked at a higher GPU rate, but in the end, the GPU in 865 is obviously better than the 765. And other such unimportant things included in the 865 are useless. Agreed, the more the merrier, but consider the price difference, man. So what's up with the change now? Why not all this time? Actually, now the time has come when Qualcomm's mid-tier chipset has reached nearly far good performance, and coupled with an optimized OS, you won't notice a difference until you are doing 3D gaming and comparing side by side with the top tier chipset. Qualcomm has reserved a few features in the 800 series, which they could have included, removing some unnecessary stuff, but hey, you gotta make them buy it. But wait, if the Snapdragon 765 is cannibalizing the sales of the 865, the costlier, more profitable Snapdragon variant, why would Qualcomm make such a chipset? Actually, as you might have noticed, Qualcomm's budget SoC are selling very less, with MediaTek and Samsung Exynos releasing quite capable processors at a far affordable cost. In mid-range especially, the Dimensity series of MediaTek was an alert to Qualcomm. MediaTek offering is far better as the smartphones with Dimensity 1000 Plus, be it the Realme X7 or the K30 Ultra, are about $300 to $350 or 22,000 rupees. This processor has been a China exclusive till now due to some unknown reasons, but may launch soon in other markets. It sits in between 865 and 855 Snapdragon chipsets with 5G support in them, so far ahead of the Snapdragon offering. With all this, let's come to the conclusion. Yes, the Snapdragon 865 Plus is the ultimate offering, but for most users, the Snapdragon 768G will have no real life difference until they are into hardcore gaming with all the settings turned to maximum. Hoping to see you again and see some of you subscribing to our channel. Signing off. ZoopLoop.